morning. My name is Nessa, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to CA APM Global User Community Webcast. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you'd like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. I will now like to turn the call over to Mr. Manish Parikh. Please go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to everyone. Hope you guys are all getting ready for your trip this weekend for CA World. And I hope to see you. I hope to see most of you there. We are going to. I think the entire board is going to be there. So me, JP, Keith will be there. So if you got questions, definitely feel free to interact with us with anything you guys have on your mind. With that said, let me kind of announce today's. One quick announcement. Sorry. So there's going to be a user community reception being held Tuesday, April 23rd at 5 p.m. It will happen at the Breakers Room. I think the thought process behind this is going to be basically service assurance community with the IAM community, our community, Executive Insight, and a couple others. And for reception, we're going to have the product group managers for CAAPM who will, be there for us to interact with and answers any Q&A you guys have. So definitely looking forward to that. So let me jump on to today's webcast. I'll introduce you to Dan Holmes. He is the product manager for CA Executive Insight. It's a new mobile business dashboard app, and he will talk more in depth about it. Just going to give us a sneak peek at the EI version 2.0. So without further ado, Dan, please go ahead and take it away.
Great. Thanks very much. I think I just need to be I don't know, I'm already a presenter. So, perfect. Very much, Manish. My name is Dan Holmes, and thanks everybody for letting me attend your webcast and give you a sneak peek. I thought it was appropriate. I'm a product manager. I focus on a lot of our new innovation products that we may be incubating or working with early on in their market cycle, and Executive Insight is clearly one of those. And we this program with Executive Insight targeting the APM product. We thought there was just a wealth of valuable information within that system. We wanted to make easier to get out and into the hands of folks who could really benefit from that. And APM was actually the first data source that we collect data from Executive Insight. And at last CA World about 18 months ago, we launched Executive Insight 1.0, and really excited about the progress we've made over the past 18 months, not only improving our integration with PM, but even opening the system up to bring together other information really easily. So this quick picture of me, so if you happen to see CA World and you see me walking around, by all means, please say hi. I'd love to talk with you. In my here at about 10,000 feet in Germany is Executive Insight, and I think this message that we want to get out, especially to our APM customers, is that you do own this today. So as much as this is a new product that we're developing, I've been able to get approval from CA to really bring this product to market in a very innovative way. I want customers involved early on in the development of this. I want customers providing us more feedback, steering the product in a direction that's going to make it as valuable as possible, as quickly as possible. And so the best way that I can do that is to offer an introductory licensing, which means it's not temporary, it's not a 90-day trial license or anything. thing we've actually done is we've gone and we updated all of our license agreements such that you are pre-entitled to 5 named users of this product. Again, that's not temporary, that's not a trial, so that you can get in, give us your feedback, and then not benefit from that. For as long as this product is alive and as long as you're a customer, then you have access to this product and the few releases that we deliver. So you get that message out, and the way that you would acquire it is real simple. You just go to the same place that you would go to download a new version of APM, and you should see this is on the support.ca.com website, and see those packages for Executive Insight right there. You can go ahead and download them. And again, you are since the way we license the product is named users, so how many people in the organization will have access to this information. But a great place to start is you, maybe your colleagues that work on APM would want to begin setting up some indicators that you could have access remotely on your mobile device. Then you can start experimenting, building some views for your management teams or your internal or external customers, and just use the product and see where you think it may be valuable. And if you feel that there are enhancements that we can make to make the product better, please send those to us. And our goal in doing this is, on the road, the product will actually have enough really value that you realize that this is something that you would like to open up to more in the organization, and we'd be happy to talk about there. So wanted to make that really clear. But let me give you a background as to what it is, and then I'll also give you a quick demo of the 2.0 release. This is a strategic product for us within the Service Assurance Business Unit. A little over 2 years ago, when we brought together both the application performance and infrastructure management teams and formed a new business unit around service assurance, one of the ways we wanted to deliver exceptional value to the market was to put a very specific focus on helping 4 targeted users within the organization be superheroes within their organization, have access to the right information delivered in a highly efficient way and an effective way, so you can do your job more effectively than anybody else. And so clearly we've been steering the APM roadmap to help that application performance engineer solve the problems required of a person in that role, and likewise the engineers and operators managing infrastructures, level 1 operations teams who are trying to transition from doing silo event management to ultimately doing management of services. And lastly was the executive who, every product that I've worked with and that many of my colleagues have worked with, we've always tried to offer a little view or a little dashboard, or maybe try to roll down some of the data to give a view to the executive, but we really never stepped back and said, you know what if we made a product that would be really easy? One product, so I don't have to take an Intrascope dashboard and then a Performance Center view and try to get SOI to look interesting to executives. We could stay focused with those tools on the targeted users, but then we could bring together content from these systems and other systems that would produce views that help the organization better manage up and manage out to the organization. Casing the value that's delivered, making through strategic metrics that help align the organization to improve that operational excellence in delivering services and applications to the business. So this product targets that upper left-hand user. And now when we started this and we decided we wanted to build a new product from the executive, we thought, let's line this product up with some of the hottest transformational trends happening in the industry, and clearly mobile and social are among those two. So those are key. Construction of this was to align to the value elements of, let's make this our first mobile-first product, which means we're going to actually build this for the mobile user who wants to consume information on mobile first, and determine if we need to share this also on systems for users who are accessing data from their PCs and desktop. So do the exact opposite of what we've been doing. Rather than build a product that has a mobile extension, let's actually build a mobile product. and architect and engineer from the ground up for that. And I mentioned we picked APM as our first data source, and we really do believe that as we look out into the market with global GDP at such high levels, the competitive pressures on all of our organizations are really asking a lot of IT to deliver new applications, whether traditional web applications or mobile applications, that as IT service is going to help differentiate that company in the marketplace. And so the more companies look for IT to help distinguish them in the marketplace, to innovate ways to attract customers or to strengthen the bond that they currently have with customers, you'll realize that if it's not happening already, you'll begin to see more business professionals asking questions from IT beyond the why can't I get to my email. They're going to ask questions like, launch the application. Right now, how many users are currently engaged with the app? Okay, now how many? And now how many? And are you doing a good job delivering that at good service? Were you able to keep it up and give a good quality of experience? Are you seeing defects in that experience? And the last thing you want to do is to have to build and maintain spreadsheets for this audience. You don't want to have to give them a login to APM so that every time they see a indicator, they call you and say, what's happening? Is this a problem? You want to have full control of being able to just select the right metrics that are appropriate for an audience like this, and then put that information in context that they can see it through the lens that business professionals look at technology. We thought that in industry, this is a problem that is certainly seeing that there's a growing number of customers who'd like us to solve it. In addition, we all know that the pressure on ITs to drive efficiencies, to drive cost out of the IT, has very much led the agenda for IT. But you don't want to make your strategy all about drive cost and efficiency. The old adage is, if my strategy is to continue to do more with less, I will eventually have to do everything with nothing. And at some point, I need to round the corner and really align the organization to the idea that I'm not just a utility and driving cost out of my organization, but I am, in fact, highly strategic to the business and driving up revenue, customer loyalty, or brand, which lowers the cost to sales or strengthens the support you have for your organization. So I focus on not only bottom line success stories of driving out cost, but you do also want to connect yourself and advertise how you're connected to driving top-line strategic growth within the organization. So two things led us to believe the market is, the timing is right. Something we've been watching our customers do with our products today using a crowbar. Let's see if we can't make life easier and expand on this opportunity. So thus we introduced a product that we called CA Executive Insight, which is, as we describe it, it's a new mobile business dashboard that we are constructing here at CA. We did not acquire this. We're not licensing somebody else's technology. We really assembled a team of some of our best and brightest across both the APM products and some of our infrastructure management and service management products, and spent time and really researched how to develop a great quality mobile experience, but also how to address this problem of I need to transform the IT metrics into business relevant KPIs. And that's kind of on the wall of our war room as we build this out is our challenge. And if we can succeed at that, we think our customers will benefit. A system that makes it very simple to transform IT metrics into business relevant KPIs, not burdening the IT organization, but actually eliminating the cost and complexity of having to support all of these requests. So we're introducing, at CA World next week, we'll be introducing the new version, which you can see here in this screenshot. And again, the context of the program is we picked carefully our value elements of building this new executive mobile dashboard, right? So we talked about mobility. The other thing is we wanted to architect from the beginning this idea of not only being able to share information, but maybe even to allow others to layer context to that information. So to engineer and architect around the idea of collaboration, similar to what people are becoming familiar of with in your social media applications that you use. And in addition, I'll show you in the demo, the last thing you want to do is to deploy a product and then be responsible for being everybody's view. So we need to engineer into this offering, unlike other reporting packages, innovative self-service so that executives themselves, if Monday morning they want to know engagement and quality of experience of an online booking application, and then the following Monday they want to know about progress they've been making on the efficiency with a new data center migration, and then the following Monday there's a Super Bowl ad, and they want to understand how well that's driving activity to your new download and use your new mobile apps or to your websites. You don't want to have tickets opened and request others to build and adjust those dashboards. Just let them do it themselves, just like they build up their friend lists in LinkedIn and Facebook and identify the content that they want to see within those apps. And lastly, as call it a mobile business dashboard, but we also recognize CA is not looking to get into the business of business intelligence. This is not going to be for the chief financial officer. We are not going to be exceptional at harvesting data out of the Salesforce systems or business systems or SAP per se. We'll have open APIs that'll let you layer some of that content in. Where we really want to be exceptional is make it incredibly simple to just point, click, select, or let the system automatically help harvest content from team management tools, CA APM, CA Capacity Manager, the CA Eco-Analytics products that we have, or our Service Operations Analytics, or eventually even our infrastructure management and other tools. Make it really simple to get data out of those systems. Early on, I spoke with a customer who really had been struggling because we're working with their BI teams to basically take all of the data out of the APM Smart Store and stuff it into a BI system. And it was just a mess and an expensive process. And all they were looking to do was to see that when a natural disaster occurs, how does the activity in the call center correlate to activity with the application? So it gets a question about how the technology was behaving. A system like this would be ideal to help answer, because what they do is come in and select the indicators they want, make those accessible, and say, listen, here's a login, go and monitor that activity using this Executive Insight product. So it's just kind of staged. So this was going to be our focus for this. So this is what we're going to do well. And what we're not going to do well is we're not going to be a big data house. You're not going to come in and define a big metadata model. There's not going to be this big reporting framework, and we're not going to do long-range analytics. We're going to focus on real-time, anytime, quick, simple, easy to get set up, and sharing this information in a lightweight way that doesn't require a lot of central administration. So that's kind of the goals. And so we've delivered that around things like, we have interactive mobile dashboards, and I'll show you a little bit of that. We had to look at understanding that our customers are not all going to be Android users or iOS users, so not any one given platform. So have to engineer this so that as the whole mobility market continues to fracture and explode, that we can quickly pivot to where the majority of our customers are investing in platforms so that we can adjust and support that quickly. As I mentioned, designing this so that users can do a lot of the things themselves, and then give you the flexibility, again, to control the information you push out to the organization, but then also allow for things like labels to be changed or information to be grouped the way business would group it, not necessarily the way the technology is grouped when you're trying to monitor and solve problems with application technology. And to the problems that we're addressing, executives, and we interview customers, and we work a lot with customers through our customer validations. We hear all in all, a lot. The executives, you guys all have your tools and your alerts and your things set up, but I don't want to be the last to know when there's a problem. If I'm responsible for an application, and if there's good news or bad news with that application, when the phone rings from the line of business, I'd like to be informed. I'd like to be able to answer exactly what the current state is, that yes, I'm monitoring it, and I understand who's doing what, again, to respond to that. Again, the anytime, anywhere access is just a fabulous opportunity for mobile. We're always connected now. And more than anything, want the COO and the CIO's organization to open up those new opportunities to work with the lines of business, the customers that are sponsoring and funding a lot of the application initiatives, and where you can begin to enlighten that audience with things like, here's what I can show you in a nice, simple way of measures that are appropriate to somebody who cares about the business side of an app. You can begin to start having more dialogue of what else can we do to more business value, to deliver applications to market faster, give everybody the insights they need to make strategic decisions more effective and quickly, and just overall strengthen the relationship between line of business and IT, and establish some measures to align to set clear goals and work toward improving those. The old, you can't improve what you don't measure. We'll put it out there, measure it, and work together to improve that score. These are the things that align. And this is the slide I always feel comfortable with, which is, cool story, nice vision. Now, where are we today with it? This shows the integrations that we've delivered on today against this vision. So as I mentioned, CA application performance management, which includes all of our application performance management. So the application diagnostics from Intrascope, the customer experience monitoring, the cloud monitor, APM cloud monitor, to get a perspective on the performance of apps through all hours of the day and evening from over 60 points of presence around the globe. Again, all of this information can come together within the APM offering, access to all of the information, including any information that's integrated through what we used to call Power Apps or the EP agent as well. And I'm always fascinated to see the really cool data, such as bringing in metrics from our mainframe systems, our database insight systems, and then also some really cool metrics that people bring in the EP agent. All data is available. If you organize in a management module and write or a metric group and then write a calculator on top of that, you can also share that calculated metric, which happens to be among some of the more popular metrics that our existing customers are starting to share with their execs. So APM's covered. Operations Insight takes all of the events and alarms from both CA and third-party tools and correlates those against a very simple question, which is, what does this mean in terms of business impact? How does alarm impact, or this group of alarms, what does this mean in terms of the state of services I'm delivering to the business? Does this represent quality defects in delivery? Customers are really affected, or am I just seeing an increase in risk? 2 out of 6 servers have just caught on fire, which is not necessarily a good thing, but yet the customer experience has not been effective. We've architected for redundancy, so my risk index went up, but my quality experience is okay. Having that automated insight into the business impact allows people to make better triage and informed decisions. It also helps in the isolation of the problem. So with integration to Service Operations Insight, you don't have to share executives every event and alarm. You can simply share with them a view from operations as to what is the health of the service that I'm delivering. Is quality okay? Has risk gone up? How long has it been in that state? And then tags of information that you may want to share with execs. capacity management tool allows you to share metrics that we've actually engineered in our capacity management offering that answer things like, I just built this wonderful new private cloud that I'm hosting my applications from. Am I doing it more efficiently than I used to? Is my virtual infrastructure with all of my automation tools supporting my engineers in a more efficient way? Looking at things like what percentage of that compute capacity is either overutilized, putting your applications at risk, or underutilized. You've got a lot of waste still in the system. And then get a simple scorecard, something that people can rally around and align to and say, today our efficiency in this data center is 10%, 2%. We want it to 40 or 50%, and here's the scoreboard that we're going to follow. And what's nice is you can look at efficiency and quality of experience in the same view. Again, it's kind of a popular approach that customers are starting to take with the tool. Energy metrics from Ecometer with the data center infrastructure management solution. Everything from what the energy use as it goes up or down, the temperature in the data center, to what is the analyzed power use effectiveness score, which is something that a lot of companies are now using as a top end, again, a scoreboard for efficiency in the data center. Of all the power that goes into this data center, what percentage is directly going to the delivery of IT services versus all of the other overhead? And what things we can do to improve that score. You integrate directly those tools. It's a point-and-click integration. You can go select the metrics you want to share, and then through a user interface, go through and relabel, regroup, put graphics around it, select the visualization, and you're off and running, and I'll show that. And then getting up the IT with the business metrics, we do have two options. We've had the universal CSV adapter, so you can push metrics primarily from on-premise data sources into Executive Insight by dropping them in a folder and configuring our CSV adapter to watch and pull that data in and parse it, and then apply those metrics to indicators that have been defined. And then as part of the 2.0 release, introducing a new universal web services poller, which is just opening up a whole new opportunity for not only getting data from systems on-premise, but now also in the cloud. And our team is starting, this is brand new for us, and we're starting to explore, what automation through, open government, open API initiatives are now available, to go after and grab even outside of my system. Or I move to adopting more cloud services, a good question for the cloud provider is, do you provide access to valuable metrics that I can use, again, to measure the value of using that service? And a little bit of a drilling on that new web services poller. It's doing REST polls, formatting both JSON and XML. You can see it here in the admin console. If I've got time during the demo, I'll show you real quickly what that's like. But it's just a pull down. I want to create a new web services adapter. I want to activate a web services adapter, and then fill in the URL and any parameters, and then define how you want to parse to grab the metrics within the content. Said we're kind of excited because we're experimenting and playing with an instance that we actually have hosted ourselves in the cloud, and we point to different data sources and grab everything from weather statistics to the lake height where I spend the summers to stock quotes and ESPN scores and other things. For who've been doing this with scripts, and we've met with customers who are doing this a lot with scripts, we'd be really interested to get your eye on the work that we've done to put it in the user interface to see if we can't remove some of the cost and burden of doing that. And another thing that we also did with this release, and this was a learning process for us, is if I'm going to build a mobile business dashboard product, right, my first mobile product, and I want to deploy it to mobile users throughout my organization, how to do it. Now, some companies will have a containment strategy, right, where they either use VPN containers, like within TA we use Juniper Pulses as primary VPN. So from my iPad, I could VPN into the CA network and then go ahead and access Executive Insight that way. Other companies are using Mobile Iron or AirWatch or other solutions to provide similar mobile access management capabilities. But one of the things we learned with our customers is whether or not those systems are in place, one of the easiest ways to make this information available to execs is if we architect the solution very similar to any other web application that is customer facing. And we've in this released finished the process so that the way the product is architected is you can deploy Executive Insight in the back office, and it can store its data both either on the same system or on another system that is hosting the database. And you can deploy just the UI services for the executive's view within your DMZ, typically in like a zone 2, so that executives or employees who want to access this from their mobile devices simply need internet access on mobile. They go to ei.ca.com, and then they would be directed by a proxy server to our web server here, which would then host all of the UI presentation of the content, and then have a single port back into the back office with HTTP, HTTPS for security. So again, it's been a learning process, and we're really excited to be able to kind of break through and say, you currently host this like any of our other apps and then rely on VPN technology, or we now have the option to make it more easily accessible in a secure way. So that was another part of the 2.0 offer, which came in from customer requests. Let me just break over to demo. Probably better than slides would be just to show a quick demo, and then after the demo, I'll go ahead and open up to questions that you may have. And along the way, if you do have a question, if I've said anything that doesn't make sense or you've got something you'd like to ask, go ahead and do it in the Q&A section right there on WebEx. I'll try to keep an eye on it. I'm going to share this real quick. All right, here's the session. I hope it's shared. If for some reason it's not coming through well, I'll also go slow sometimes with WebEx. Things render a little bit slow. Any of the other presenter moderators, just give me a shout if it's not coming through clear. So the process, in fact, let me from the very beginning. And I mentioned we had to decide how we want to construct this to be able to support a variety of platforms and quickly adjust to new platforms. So we did go with the HTML5 approach. So it's a web app, but we're using some special libraries that allow us to really emulate that interactive mobile experience within a browser. It's really cool on iPhones and Android devices. The other side effect is that if you have a browser that supports WebKit technology using, so Safari, Chrome, Firefox is on the way, and signs that Microsoft may move in this direction are there. You can also just view it on the desktop, but you're going to see really quick that it's been optimized for mobile platform. This experience here in the browser is what it would look like on a tablet. It does render differently if the app detects that you're running on a phone versus a tablet, because obviously different real estate means we probably need to do things a little differently. Log in, and actually want to log in as that user, so I'm going to log in. Sorry about that. Again, as a user, I wanted to start from the very beginning. So if I'm an exec and this is the first time that I come into the app, I'm going to be welcomed by the app, and part of that do-it-yourself is the first thing we want to do is try to teach the executive how to fish, how to build their own dashboard quickly so they're not always bugging you. So they're going to be welcomed, they're going to be encouraged to touch that plus sign and then take a look at what information you've made available to them. And you can see we set this up around that tick scenario. So imagine I'm an executive within an emerging company that's trying to break through the market of selling concert tickets online. And clearly IT is going to be a tool to differentiate that experience. So I'm one of the line of business execs And things that I'm interested in is we've offered special services, digital services to our customers so that if you attend a concert and buy a ticket through our service, you can come back to our application and you can actually download and purchase music that was recorded at that concert. So maybe you'd like to know, now that that service has been activated, are you seeing the level of activity and engagement that you expected? Likewise, a photo service. You can upload photos and download photos that other people took the event. So maybe you were in the back row and somebody in the front row took an awesome photo of your favorite musician. And again, as a line of business executive, you want to know, now that we've supplied this experience to our customers, what's the behavior of our customers with that experience? So looking at things like the activity, and again, this is all powered by CA APM. We're watching those customer transactions. We're mapping those to business activity, such as this represents a user downloading music. This represents a user uploading a photo. We have customer profiles and let them view a history of shows. We learn the type of shows, so maybe that's something else you want to see. And then ultimately you want to know, listen, are people placing orders and printing tickets? Because that's really how we make our money. The information that this individual is interested in, so then they can just hit done, and boom, we have that for them in a dashboard, which is going to be their home page. So when they wake up in the morning and open up the app, this will be the first thing that they see, which is these are the metrics you said you were interested in. And if you're really not interested in the mice anymore, you can just hit the mice and give it and go. So we educate the executive right away as to what you need to do to just build your own views and maintain your own views, because things change. Business is all about become more agile and flexible to change. So that first thing that we offer. Now into the catalog, because as an exec, I not only can build my own dashboard, but I can see if there have been other dashboards built by different teams. I can go searching for the metrics that I want to view right now. And again, in the catalog, it's kind of a directory of information presented to executives in context to the business, not necessarily how the technology is organized by product or by technology. So here we see information relevant to the TixChange online experience. Here we've got some mobile insights about how the application is performed across different mobile devices and over different providers. Here's somebody set up an interesting view. I can just view that. Using the Cloud Monitor, I can do performance. I can also view my competitors, so that when we're making those business decisions around investing in streamlining performance, tightening SLAs with our providers, I can actually say, wait a minute, is the uptime, availability, and response time of our service at least on par, above, or below the quality of our competitors? So in imagining this being part of ticket selling industry, we have some competitors, and I easily configure Cloud Monitor to watch their websites, and then I can compare that against my own. That might be an interesting view for the exec. And some things I mentioned about being interactive on mobile, if there are a lot of indicators, the user can grab and scroll through the list of indicators. If we're making values in between the last two polled values, this 330 milliseconds, the indicator is telling you with this arrow that that value is trending up, versus arrow over here says it's trending down. So if I go left to right swipe of my finger, it'll really adjust to tell me how much is it going up in value and percentage. So we understand the gestures on the mobile devices of a left to right swipe is going to be different than if I touch my finger and drill into that and can get to the detail view for that particular application. And I'll go through some of the detail view stuff in a minute. For just some examples of producing a web app, but making it aligned to the experience that people are expecting from these cool mobile apps. The capacity was another one, which is if I'm using capacity management and I want to look at the efficiency, and I can easily a simple view for an executive. And in this case, TixChange, the business plan and the board of directors agreed that squeezing cost and taking even a greater risk in order to squeeze cost is part of the business strategy. So we instrument the data center with our performance monitoring software along with our capacity analytics, and we literally can manage upward our progress of keeping to a 76 efficiency rating is exceptional for data center. We can see the risk we're taking, which is we're keeping it right around 5% overutilized. We're actually bringing attention. We're even just at 11% underutilized, encouraging people to consider, hey, maybe we can even reallocate some of our, provision the application so that we can even free up some from unused capacity there. Come into Mobile Insights one, just to drill into the details. And to see the different layering of information, we've got a little chart widget. We have the gauge widget, and then I think I showed you the equivalent to the stoplight, which is just those thresholds are actually set in Executive Insight. One of the other things we learned is, as an application performance engineer, 2 seconds of delay, you may know about it. You may want to be alerted. You may want others alerted in your technology team. You don't want to wake up executives and have them calling you saying, my God, what are you doing to fix that delay? So now what you can do is say, when we're observing a number of defects in real transactions, that is representing the risk to business and business impact, or if the delay is over 10 seconds, that's when we really see dropouts rate rising and people shopping elsewhere, and so sure, that's when I'll notify you. And the last thing we want to do is to make the phone ring in IT. This project is really aimed at sharing information out to maintain alignment and to protect that from happening and if anything, reduce it. Here what we've done is, this is a system, in fact, system that I also have set up watching this demo itself. And it may take a little bit for the data to come through. It's not, but over the course of this, I'll come back to this and see if any just shows up either from myself or others that are hitting the demo site. But what this is showing you is we've done some customization to an instance of APM so that as transactions are being observed, we can see how they're, what is the response time of the transaction that represents users logging into the app, and compare across different providers, and how does that compare across different platforms. So this is just an example of how that would look in this example here. And I get my app. I'm actually going to hit my app on the phone, which you will be able to see, but so bear with me and see if I can't trigger some activity in that real-time view. But to kind of give you an example of what we found is that even ourselves building a mobile app, we realized that the architects and the developers want to know that, we put these little graphics that you can add to the indicators, but one of the questions were, how will that impact rendering time on an iPhone 4 that's coming over a 3G network versus a 4G network or Wi-Fi? Developers wanted to know that, and the QA teams wanted to know, and our performance engineers. And likewise, as a line business owner, the product owner for this, I've got to make decisions about which platforms am I going to support. Do I accelerate putting better graphics in the product, or am I getting concerned with the customer experience? And so again, this became information that we ourselves realized that, what, I've got a technical audience who'd like to see this within APM, but also have a business audience who I don't want to give an APM dashboard, so why don't I share these metrics out through Executive Insight? So that's what we did with. And then I want to show you the one other system that I have. This is a system that I have set up within our own IT organization, and just 3 examples of indicators that I set up using that web services polar. And I mentioned I can go to Google and pick and grab the real-time stock quote for CA just as test. I spend summers on a lake in the Adirondacks of New York. It's a man-made lake, and all of us are always interested in the height of the lake as the spring runoff hits. You can actually see that right now that snow is melting in the Adirondacks and the lake is picking up. And this is a good example of the open government initiative where governments are sponsoring applications and IT programs provided that they not make it available through user interfaces and websites and mobile apps, but that they also just open a channel so that other application developers can go and access that as well. This is becoming a very hot trend within applications. And then also just went to Yahoo as another example. The way that I did that is what I thought I would show. If I to my admin interface, and this administrator UI looks like within Exec Insight, you can see I have different connectors. I have APM Capacity Manager. I've got my LI connector. I just created this little Google Stock connector, and I wanted to create so that I could choose to pull summation on a continuous basis and then create a business indicator AI that I could share out with my execs. And I'll show you very briefly. We won't spend a lot of time here, but the way we do this is simply, obviously you have to learn the UL, the API, but I just find the API to go and the parameters to go get that stock quote. I'll test that. That'll be a body. This is the information. This is the package of data that's sent back, and this is in XML format. And simply we're using some XPath trees to do the parsing, and you'll just define how you want that information. And the result of that, this looks like when we parse the information, we actually grab the value, which is our metric name, and the actual value. And polling that every 1 minute. I could set this to poll every 5 minutes, every hour, or every day, whatever is appropriate. Our goal is to take some of the complexity out of configuring to go after some of these metrics. Again, these could be applications, and your application developers could expose metrics that you may want to pull yourself. If an application you're building in the cloud or a deployed cloud, and that's the best way, you can certainly go get it. Or if you're leveraging other cloud services for those insights, you can do it. And real briefly, that you integrate the AP metrics is if we want it to be a very familiar experience, and you can see it's just like walking the investigator tree in Intro. In this case, this is where we've integrated our APM Cloud Monitor and different metrics, and walk those metrics and select those metrics, and I begin the process of creating my business indicators. And this is a production system, so in our IT group, so I'm not going to mess with it. That's a brief introduction to Executive Insight. If it's the first time you've seen it, if not, I hope for those of you who've maybe seen an earlier version, it's a sneak peek at the updates that we're offering in this new version, and we're going to be launching at CA World. It'll be all over the expo floor. I have sessions on Wednesday. If you are coming to CA World, Wednesday is going to be a great day. We figure we'll end with Executive Insight. We've got a lab in the morning so that all of the configuration of the CSV and web services, we're going to sit down in the lab with 2 of our developers and myself, and we'll go through setting up examples so you can learn how to integrate those custom metrics into Exec Insight. It's pretty fun. Then a session following, which is just an overview and kind of a long-term vision of where we want to go with this. And then last is we've got a panel of customers, early adopters who've been exploring releases with Executive Insight, building kind of some of their own views, and really begin that learning process of understanding, I want to improve how I manage up, how I manage out. I've got to start rethinking about what are those metrics and how I want to pull them together and display those to my executives. And they'll talk about some of their experiences, and more than anything, just get a conversation going. We've got a few others who are going to be in the room who won't be up on the panel, but are offering to share their experiences as well. So it's just a chance to get together with customers and kind of hear other thoughts and ideas around how people are using it. I think that was the end that I wanted to give you in this sneak peek. Mentioned, if this is remotely interesting to you, if it's something you'd like to check out, you can go to support.ca.com. You can go to where you download the latest version of APM. This version, I should note, won't be here until either tomorrow or Monday. So just a heads up on that. The 1.3 version, I think, is posted. We haven't officially DA'd, but we're expecting to do that tomorrow or Monday. You can definitely download it. It's a quick and easy install. 90% of our beta customers have been doing it themselves. Every now and then I'll jump on the phone just to kind of watch to make sure we did a good job of keeping it simple. And then free to set up some views, use it, join our community, tell us what you think, how to make it better. And as I mentioned, you're pre-licensed for those first 5 users. Stop sharing this. And I'm going to go over. And there's a question that came through on the Q&A, so let me answer that and then obviously open it up for anybody else. So the question is around multi-tenancy. Is this ready for an MSP? Are we able to host it SaaS? The product itself has been architected for multi-tenancy. The data in the data store, it's all segregated by tenant. There are a few pieces left in the security model and the configuration of user security so that it's not completely implemented yet to be deployed in a multi-tenant way, but it's clearly part of our roadmap and path forward. So there is role security today, so that if you were to set this up either for different users inside your organization, or if you were a service provider and you needed to set up different views, there is the role-based security, so you can define groups of users and roles, but we have fully implemented all the classical pieces of administration for the system to be what we would consider to be multi-tenant. So we're getting there on that one. Operator, if there are any other questions, I would definitely I would like to take them.
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, if you would like to ask a question, press *1 on your telephone keypad. We will pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster.
Right. While you do that, there was another one that came in on the Q&A. This is our #1 most popular question, particularly from the APM audience, which is, can we use the metric groupings with APM? So the question is it possible to do metric groupings in Executive Insight for a metric from 2 or 3 JVMs, for example, the concurrent invocation from front ends? No and yes. So the no piece is we are not able to understand there exists a metric grouping yet for APM. So that's something both teams are kind of working on now, so that we know, hey, this is a metric grouping. These metrics right now that are in those groupings, and we understand that often that those metrics within a metric groupings may be dynamic because you're using a regular expression to pull them in within APM. So we don't yet know that. And the other thing is we only support in Executive Insight right now what we call basic indicators, which is a single indicator connect to a single metric. We do support what we call derived indicators, which is either a single metric getting back to multiple metrics, which is what you would typically see in a metric grouping. And then all of the charts that you see in Executive Insight are single metric charts. We haven't yet added the multi-metric charts. That is definitely in our roadmap. I've certainly learned from, I came from the infrastructure management side and then the service operations, so this has been a really great journey for me to learn about customers that are using our APM products, and I've definitely learned that those metric groupings are a lot like our global collections and our other systems. They've been, they're really something that people like to use to organize their work. So for Angle, we don't support. Now the yes part, right? We do support calculated metrics, and I don't want to discount the need for supporting metric groupings and derived indicators. I totally get that, but we do support calculated metrics, which means in this case, if you created a metric grouping for those multiple AVMs and then were to create a calculated metric, which was the average CPU or whatever value or total value, that metric we could create this indicator. You'll see that in the navigation through the APM metrics. You can say, okay, there's my metric, my calculated metric, and I'll share that with the executive. But fortunately, you won't see the individual details, the multi-metric charts, and so on. But so on the total support for metric groupings, it's in the roadmap. But in the immediate term, if you have a calculator or want to put a calculator, we can grab that. Any other questions through either the Q&A window or from the phone?
To ask a question, press star 1 on your telephone keypad. There are audio questions at this time. Okay.
So I think there's a quick poll question we'd just like you to take, and please be honest because it's this time is valuable, and we make sure that the content that we're sharing with you is useful and that you truly get value. So I think there's a poll question on the right if you take a moment and fill out, and if there's any last-minute questions, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, my name is Dan Holmes. I will be at CA World. We'll have sessions on Wednesday. We'll be in the expo. You can also send me a note if you can remember this. My name is Daniel Holmes. Daniel.holmes@ca.com is my email. Feel free to send me a note. Love to have you join the group of adopters who've started to take a look at the work we're doing and really help us invent a really cool product. With that, I'll say thank you all for joining as soon as you take the poll question. Great day, and look forward to seeing as many of you at CA World as possible. Thank you very much.
This does conclude today's conference call. Thank you for your participation. You now disconnect.